Today is day 242 of the podcast, and John 1:14 says, "The Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, glory as of the only begotten from the Father, full of grace and truth." The Lord didn't regard equality with God as something to be grasped, but willingly emptied himself of his privilege and his location in order to put on flesh. He came and he dwelt among us in our human disguise, in a very human disguise, clothing himself with our nature and with our limitations so that we in turn could put on his fullness and be clothed once more with the living Spirit. At the fall, we forfeited something. We forfeited the royal apparel of his presence and his glory, and we were left with flesh alone. Oh, really the devastating nakedness of that event. When Jesus came, he was robed only in skin. He put on flesh and dwelt among us. So he robed himself in skin, and he demonstrated the way home to the Father. And the way home for us to be in the Father's house and live in that restored place, our restored original design and destiny as sons, clothed in his presence and his glory. When he disrobed and put on flesh, then he dwelled among us so that we in turn could learn how to lay aside flesh and put on spirit and begin to walk in him. He's getting undressed one way so that we in turn can learn how to get dressed the other way. Romans 8:19 says, "For the anxious longing of the creation waits eagerly for the revealing of the sons of God," the huios of God, what the mature sons, those who have taken on the likeness of the Father, what they look like. The whole creation's waiting to see this. And then 1 John 3, verses 2 and 3 says, "Beloved, now we are children of God, and it has not appeared as yet what we shall be. We know that when he appears, we shall be like him, because we shall see him just as he is. And everyone who has this hope fixed on him purifies himself just as he is pure." Today, the Lord still desires to put on flesh, to have a body to walk among his people, and we are that body. When we present our bodies as a living sacrifice, as our reasonable service of worship, we are once more giving him flesh to put on, and he can dwell in our midst by his Spirit. He wants to continue to be among his people, releasing his Father's will on earth as it is in heaven. We can make the exchange if we're willing to dress the opposite way as he is dressing. He puts on your flesh, you put on his Spirit, and we live a merged life with the Son. So here's today's question. Is there any obstacle you face in putting aside your old identity and putting on Christ?